Hey y'all, so today I'm going to show you how to create these really simple crochet vintage candles. So my mother-in-law had asked for some. She had a few already and she needed a few more to add to her home decor. So I wanted to figure out how to create it, and I'm going to show you what I did. So this is a really simple pattern, easy to create, and I think it adds a little pop to your home. If you follow my channel, then you probably saw the holiday pumpkins, and so this is kind of similar to that. You're going to use inexpensive acrylic yarn. So this was 99 cents. I got it from Hobby Lobby. You only need about 100 grams, so very small amount of yarn to create one candle. Of course, if you're going to do more, than just grab a big ball of red heart, usually really inexpensive. We're going to start this by making a magic circle. So if you're not familiar with how to do a magic circle, it's easier just to follow along with me there on the screen. I'm trying to go slow enough there that you can catch it. It's just a lot easier for you to see it sometimes than me to try to vocalize what to do. And then once you have that yarn on your crochet hook, you're going to go ahead and just hold the circle kind of taut in your hand so that it doesn't come loose. Go ahead and make yourself a chain of 3. And that's just going to secure your magic circle, and it's also going to serve as your first double crochet stitch. Okay, I do have a video on my channel that may go a little slower if you didn't catch on how to do the magic circle here, but if not, just rewind it and see if you can catch on. You're only gonna do this one time, the magic circle. So you're gonna do 8 double crochet stitches into the magic circle. And remember that first chain of 3 that we created, that counted as your first double crochet stitch. So basically you're going to just do an additional 7. Okay. And as you can see, the circle is it's kind of flimsy. It doesn't really have a lot of structure to it, and that's okay, because once we finish doing our double crochet stitches, we're going to pull everything together, and that's what's going to create a circle. So if you don't like doing magic circles, you can also just do a chain of 4 and then combine them and then work into that circle there. And that's kind of hard to explain, but there's other ways of getting a circle besides doing the magic circle. Okay, so I'm going to just give it a little count and make sure that I have my 8 double crochet stitches. You just need a few more, and I'm going to try to stay on camera as much as I can. This is, like I say, a pretty easy tutorial. This part is your most complicated part, and the little skirt might be the next complicated part, but other than that, easy peasy, guys. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm using a 6mm crochet hook. Okay, so like I said, your circle is kind of flimsy at this point. You're going to use that initial tail, and you're going to pull your circle together. So just give it a little pull, and I just make sure everything kind of stays flat as I'm pulling everything together. And again, don't let this discourage you, but this is probably the trickiest part of the project. So if you can get this down, then you'll easily be able to create the candle. Okay, once you have your circle completed, meaning you have 8 double crochet stitches, you're going to then join them together. So you're going to insert your crochet hook into that very first stitch over there, kind of to the top, yarn over, and then just pull through. Okay, and that's how I'm going to just make sure everything's joined together, giving my circle, my tail a little bit of a tug to make sure it's all secure, and then do a chain of 3. Okay, and that chain of 3 is going to count as your first double crochet, your second double crochet stitch in that round. So what you're doing is you're going to do 2 double crochet stitches in each stitch around, and that's going to increase your magic circle from 8 to 16. So you had 8 in your first round, and now you're going to do 16 in your second round, and that's it. Okay, so just continue to do 2 double crochet stitches, just kind of pull your work apart in each stitch all the way around until you get to the end. And I'm going to stay on camera a little bit longer, but this is what it's going to start to look like. But just continue working, okay? And guys, I'm sorry, I haven't put out a whole lot of videos. When the holidays come, I just get so wrapped up in doing decorations and all of that stuff. So hopefully I'll have a few more videos this month. I'm definitely going to do a giveaway. I had bought the wrong type of yarn, and I can't make what I wanted to make, so I'm going to give that yarn to you all instead of taking it back. So stay tuned to the channel to make sure that you get entered into that giveaway. Okay, so I'm continually making the double crochet stitches, 2 in each stitch around, until I get a total of 16, and then that's going to create the top part of our candle. Okay, so once you've done this part, we're going to set this right over to the side, and then we're going to start actually making the shaft part, or the actual candle itself. Okay, so I'm just giving it a little count to make sure that I have 16. Once you do that, just like you did before, you're going to slip stitch into that very first stitch, yarn over, and pull through. Okay, and that's like I said, the top portion of our candle. Okay, once you have that, go ahead and cut your yarn and then finish off your work, and then just set that little guy to the side. We'll come back to it once we finish making our actual candle. Okay, so to create our candle, you're going to go ahead and make yourself a slip knot. Follow along on the screen there. And then you're going to place that onto your crochet hook. All right, this is the simple part, you all. So if you're comfortable with crocheting, you'll whip this up in no time at all. You're going to make yourself a foundation chain of 25 plus 1. So total of 26 in my case. So just yarn over and pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through. And I'm just going to speed through this a little bit. Now, candles are completely customizable. So any size candle that you want, that is going to be what you create. This portion right here, the beginning foundation chain, is going to create the actual width of your candle, or the diameter. So once you get to the very end here, you're going to go right into that first stitch, and you're going to start doing your first row, basically. So go ahead and do a row of single crochet stitches, and I went right into that very first stitch. Now this is the thing, you want to just make sure that you count your stitches, making sure that you get the same number in each row. And for this particular candle, I did 3 different sizes. So this particular one, I believe I did 8 rows. So the red candle, which you'll see if you haven't saw at the beginning, you'll see it at the end, I did 11 rows. This one I did 8, and then the white one I did 5. So just continue working, doing single crochet stitches all the way down, okay? And when you get to the end, I'll meet you there. I'm just going to pop back on here and kind of show you what it should look like after you finish your first row. Nice, neat stitches. The key here is you just want to count your stitches, make sure you have the same number in each row, and we're working right through the middle of the stitch. So chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to go right through the center and continue making a single crochet stitch all the way until you get to your desired row. So right there, right through the center, where you should have, excuse me, just yarn over and pull back through. I'm trying to go slower here, but I feel like probably you know how to do a single crochet stitch. If you don't, of course, I always link instructional videos in my description box below to kind of go slower. Okay. Again, just pause your video and keep working. And I don't do this all on camera, you all. Okay, so this is what it's looking like here. I'm just going to continue working this row right here on camera so you can see how I end the work. Okay, and so once you get the desired number of rows that you want, and in this case I think I wanted 8, then we're going to go ahead and move into creating the skirt. So go ahead and give your rows a count, and then once you get to where you want, go ahead and make chain 2 and then turn your work, and we're going to start making the skirt. So once you get to the desired number of rows, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create the skirt. The skirt is that bottom portion of the candle. The way we do this is we're going to do an increase. So basically what we'll do is we'll do 2 double crochet stitches in each stitch across. So that's going to increase the number of stitches that we have going across. Okay, so don't let it get confusing for you. All you're doing at this point is you're going to find your stitch, find your hole, you're going to insert your crochet hook and do a double crochet stitch. And you're going to do 2 of those in each space across. Now I'm going to tell you something. It's not going to make a difference too badly if you miss one and you only do 1 and then some might make, do 2. It's not going to change the way the skirt looks. What we're doing now is we're just kind of creating that bunch look, that wavy looking pattern, that skirt look. Okay, so 2 double crochet stitches in each stitch across. Don't get bogged down in it. If you skip a stitch, it is okay for this purpose. Okay. What's happening is you're making like a wavy edging is what we're doing. See how that's looking? Because we're putting 2 in each stitch, it's actually making it look crowded, and that's what we want. Okay, so that's the initial part of your skirt. If you wanted to stop there, you could. I wanted one more row so that it really had that look that I was looking for. So once you've gotten to the end of the row, you're going to do you're going to chain 3 and you're going to turn your work. All right, now we're going to do 3 double crochet stitches in each stitch across. So we went from 2 double crochet stitches to 3 double crochet stitches, and that's going to really make this look really what's the word I'm looking for? Really flowy skirt like. Okay, so now we have 3 double crochet stitches in each stitch across. And again, just like before, if you only get 2 in or 1 or whatever, it's not going to make too big of a difference. Don't get bogged down in the count. Just try to get 3 in each stitch across. Okay, so this is kind of it's not like we're going to wear this, so it's going to be okay if you don't get the exact number. Okay, so just keep working into each stitch across. Remember, you're going to do a double crochet stitch, and you're going to do 3 of them in each stitch. And I'm going to speed through this just a little bit to not be on the camera so long, but you guys just continue to work. Now this is probably going to take the longest amount of time because we're actually doing 3 double crochet stitches per stitch, but it's going to make like a cool looking fan. So just keep working. And this is what we're aiming for. So you kind of saw this in the beginning of the video, but we're looking to create this little skirt part of the vintage crochet candle. Okay, and so this is what it's looking like here. Now I did do 3 different sizes. This one is the medium size. So I believe, like I said before, I did 8 rows. It's not going to make too big of a difference. Just decide what size candle you want, and then your rows will vary based off of that. So go ahead and finish off the skirt portion, and we will start constructing the candle in a moment. So this is what it looks like. So at this point, we're done making our little frilly bottom. You're going to go ahead and finish it off. Just cut the yarn over, and pull through. And that's what it looks like. So it actually looks like a miniature skirt, a miniature tennis skirt. You have the top portion that we already created, and now we have the bottom portion. So at this point, we're going to start trying to construct this candle. Now, I will be honest with you, this is probably the most, outside of making the magic circle, if you're not comfortable doing that, this is just going to take the most amount of time just because you kind of have to sew everything together. Okay, so the trick here is basically you just want to make sure that you line the round disc or the round portion that we completed earlier with the top portion of the candle, and then you're just going to sew around the circle. So basically just make sure that you line it up and then attach the top of the candle skirt to the sides of the magic circle or the little dome thing that we created. Okay. Now the way I created the pattern, it should line up pretty evenly. I don't know the math and all that behind it, but it did all work out at the end. So if you followed my pattern, then it should work out where you have enough stitches to go around the circle. And just remember, it's not meant to be complicated. This isn't anything that you're going to wear, so it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. The goal here is to simply just attach the circle to the candle. Okay, so just keep working, and I'm going to stay on camera a little bit so that you can see what I'm trying to accomplish.
Okay, so this is what it's looking like here. Now I did do 3 different sizes. This one is the medium size. So I believe, like I said before, I did 8 rows. It's not going to make too big of a difference. Just decide what size candle you want, and then your rows will vary based off of that. So
Do you see what I'm doing there? So you're just going to wrap it around and it ends up being pretty perfect, okay? The center portion is going to be a little bit, you'll see once you finish doing it what I'm talking about. So just continue to sew all the way around, trying to make sure that you get every stitch covered, okay? And I'll stay on camera just a little bit longer with this just so you can kind of get the concept of what I'm doing. But again, guys, don't overthink it. This is a really super easy project. So if you look at it here, it looks kind of domed to the top. What I did was I pushed it down, and that was by design, because if you ever see a candle, it kind of looks like a well when the candle is lit, and that's what I wanted. That's what I was trying to go for. So initially it kind of looks domed at the top. But you're going to push it down when you put the little wick part in there, and it's going to really make it look more candle-like, okay? So once you get the top portion sewn around the top of the candle, you're going to now close the candle off. So just sew down the side. Again, this is probably easier to see on the screen, and it may look complicated, but you guys, it really is not. So just do a whip stitch down the side, basically just making sure that you connect the both sides together, and I try to stay as close to the top of the stitch as I can, meaning I'm trying to keep everything at the same level. Okay, and then just continue going until you get to the very bottom. All right, so this is what it looks like. So remember, you have the dome shape. This is your little bottom, everything's sewed together. It almost looks like a complete candle. One thing that we're missing, of course, is the wick. But before we get to the wick, I want to show you how I can create the little insert, which allows your candle to stand up. So in this case, I used a paper towel roll, and I just cut it in half so that it got to the desired height that I was looking for. You can also use a toilet paper roll as well. Once you have your paper towel roll, you've cut it in half, you're going to cut the paper towel roll right down the center. So essentially what that's going to do is allow the paper towel roll to open up, just like that. Once you have it where both of your paper towel rolls are opened up, then you stretch it to the desired diameter or the width that you need for your candle. So most paper towel rolls are really narrow. I wanted mine to be a little bit wider, so I stretched it open, and now I'm using a stapler to keep the form. If you don't have a stapler, you can use tape. You can also use glue. So it's a crude way of just creating an insert for the candles to the desired height that you need them. So if you make a candle and it's the same size as the toilet paper roll or the paper towel roll, you don't have to necessarily do this step unless you need it to be wider or if you need it to be taller. So that's what we have there, and that's what we're going to use inside our candle. So you can see there the difference in the width of the insert. So there it is, like that. Okay, so this is just the perfect way to get you to get your candles to have different varying sizes, so you can make different types of candles. So now let's just work on the flame. Okay, so hopefully you all have some orange or yellow yarn laying around. If you do not, go by the Dollar Tree now. I think they have yarn there in different colors. So what you do is you just determine how high and how thick you want your flame. I did a foundation chain of 8, and then I did 1 row of single crochet stitches, and that's how I created my flame. But again, depending on the size of your candle, your flame may vary. So you may only need to do 4 stitches or 5 stitches. It's just going to vary. Okay, so this is what I have. Once I have the desired height of my flame, I'm going to cut a tail, leaving a long enough tail that I can attach it to the actual candle. And this is what it looks like. Now, I felt like this flame was a little bit too narrow and a little bit too long after I completed it. So I'm going to just show you what I did to fix that. See there? I kind of just put it in half. So it's more like maybe 4 stitches long. Okay, so this is what it looks like. All right, and then I'm just going to attach that to the top of the candle. Okay guys, so this is pretty much it. This was a really fun project. It does not take long at all. I would have to say that the skirt is the longest portion of this project, and then putting it together. I made a few of these in different colors and in varying heights. So as you go ahead and attach your flame to your candle, I'm just going to tell you that I also created one where I did not use a magic circle. I had some existing candles around the home and I still wanted to keep those, available, but I wanted to kind of make them look a little bit more decorative. So I did do a white candle, and I'll show you what that looks like at the end. But overall, this project is very similar to those pumpkins that we created earlier in the season. And if you haven't seen that video, be sure to put it in your watch later for next year so that you can see how to create a more festive home for the holidays. So again, you can use anything you want to stuff the bottom of the candle. I liked using the toilet paper and the paper towel roll. So here it is, you guys. This is 2 different sizes. The red one I used 11 rows. The green one I think I did 8 rows. And then that white one there that you see, I did 5 rows. So just different varying sizes makes a cute little cluster of candles. And then this one here, I did it without a top because I already had an existing candle in the home. I was telling you about that earlier. So you're basically going to do the exact same thing. You're just going to create the rows to the height that you need it, and then just don't do the top. So anyway, that is it, you all. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and be sure to check out my channel for more videos, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.